There comes a moment when the fatigue goes deeper than your bones. It isn't the kind of tired that sleep can fix. It is a heaviness in the soul. You have been the pillar for so long. You have been the reliable one, the one who fixes things, the one who endures. You've been holding the line day after day, year after year, quietly carrying a weight that was never meant to be borne by one set of shoulders. You don't speak about it. To speak about it feels like a betrayal of who you are. To admit you are tired feels like admitting defeat. So you simply go silent. You retreat. You smile when you need to, you nod when you must, but behind your eyes you are waiting. You are waiting for a permission you cannot give yourself. The permission to put it all down. You are not broken. You are just exhausted from being strong for too long. This isolation you feel, it is a crowded room. You are not the only one walking this path. There are millions of us who live this way. We walk through life wearing armor that we forged in childhood, or in hard times that we promised never to revisit. This isn't unique to you, and it is not because you are cold or unfeeling or stubborn. It is because somewhere along the way, you learned a very specific lesson about survival. You learned that vulnerability was dangerous. You learned that if you didn't handle it, no one else would. You learned that your value to the world was measured by how much you could withstand. When we are young or when we are in crisis, this strength is a gift. It saves us. It protects us. It allows us to survive the impossible. But over time, the belief stops being a shield and becomes a cage. It stops being a choice and becomes a reflex. You stop asking for help, not because you don't need it, but because you've forgotten how the words sound. You stop showing pain because you've convinced yourself that your pain is a burden to others. And the tragedy is, the stronger you appear on the outside, the less people ask if you are okay. They assume you have it under control. They assume you are made of stone. But stone cracks. And you are not stone. You are human. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers of resilience, understood this weight. But their definition of strength was different from the one we carry today. Seneca, a man who knew great power and great loss, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." He didn't mean our pain isn't real. He meant that we double our suffering by resisting it. We suffer most not from the events of our lives or the duties we carry, but from our expectations that we must carry them perfectly. We try to control what is outside our control. We try to control how others perceive us. We try to control the future to prevent disaster, to hold the sky up so it doesn't fall on the people we love. The Stoics taught the dichotomy of control. There are things we can manage, our own minds, our own actions. And there are things we cannot, the outcomes, the past, and the chaotic nature of the world. When we try to be strong in the modern sense, we are often trying to force the world to be stable. We are trying to be the anchor in a storm that is too big for us. Imagine a river. The rock sits in the middle of the river, resisting the current. It stands firm, taking the beating of the water, day after day. Eventually the rock wears down. It erodes. It disappears. Now imagine the water itself. It is soft. It yields. When it meets an obstacle, it moves around it. It does not shatter. It flows. We have been taught to be the rock, but the Stoic wisdom suggests we learn to be the water. True strength is not rigidity. It is not about how much punishment you can take without flinching. True strength is the ability to adapt, to accept, to understand that you can endure the storm without trying to stop the wind. This struggle you feel, this draining of your spirit, comes from the tension between who you are and who you think you need to be. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself in his private journals, "Be like the promontory against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." But notice, the promontory doesn't fight the waves. It simply stands. It doesn't scream at the ocean. It doesn't try to dry up the sea. It accepts the nature of the waves. You have been trying to stop the waves, and that is why you are tired. So I ask you to look inward for a moment. Lower the shield just for these few minutes. What if your exhaustion is not a failure? What if it is not a sign of weakness? What if this pain you are feeling is a signal from your own nature, telling you that this way of living is no longer sustainable? Ask yourself, what are you still holding on to that quietly costs you your peace? Are you holding on to the need to be the savior? Are you holding on to the fear that if you rest, everything will fall apart? Are you holding on to an old version of yourself that no longer exists? We tell ourselves stories. If I don't do it, no one will. I can handle it. I don't need anyone. But beneath that is a frightened child who just wants to be held. The Stoics practiced self-reflection not to judge themselves, but to know themselves. They asked, is this essential? Is this burden you are carrying essential? Or is it a habit? Think of the energy it takes to maintain a facade, to keep the mask from slipping. It takes more energy to pretend to be strong than it does to simply be. You are afraid that if you show vulnerability, you will lose respect. But what if the opposite is true? What if your vulnerability is the very thing that will connect you back to the world? You are fighting a war that ended years ago. You can put down the weapon. Listen to the silence in your own heart. It is asking for rest, not just sleep, but the rest that comes from honesty. You don't need to be the rock anymore. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to say, I don't know. You are allowed to say, I can't do this today. You are allowed to say, I need help. This is not a resignation. This is a reclamation. Strength is not always a clenched fist. Sometimes strength is an open hand. Strength is not always shouting against the wind. Sometimes strength is a whisper that says, this is enough. Nothing is wrong with you for feeling this way. In fact, your exhaustion is proof of your humanity. It is proof that you have given everything you have. But now the season of giving is pausing. It is time for the season of receiving. The Stoic concept of amor fati, love your fate, means accepting the reality of the present moment. And if the reality of this moment is that you are fragile, then accept that fragility with love. Do not hate yourself for it. Do not fight it. Embrace it. There is a hidden power in vulnerability. When you stop pretending to be invincible, you become real. And when you are real, you become free. You are learning a new lesson, a harder lesson than endurance. You are learning self-acceptance. You are learning that you are worthy of love and rest, not because of what you do or what you carry, but simply because you exist. Epictetus taught us that freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Your peace doesn't come from controlling the world. It doesn't come from being the strongest person in the room. It comes from inner mastery. It comes from the quiet acceptance of your own limits. When you release the struggle to be superhuman, you make space. Space for calm, space for clarity, space for joy. You have carried the mountain long enough. It is time to set it down. The world will keep spinning. The sun will still rise. The people you love will still find their way. You have done enough. You are enough. Breathe. Be at peace.